How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Sick Eric Tech, and today I wanted to go over the Motorola Edge 30 Fusion 11 months later. This is going on a year now that I've had this device, and I'm going to share my thoughts of how it has held up and how the performance has been on the Motorola Edge 30 Fusion. And so far I have to say that the Edge 30 Fusion has been fantastic. Yes, it's got an older chip processor, but still, this is a great device. And now you can find this on Motorola's website for like $350. You get a case, and you also get your Motorola earbuds, the ANC earbuds that come free bundled in the package. So that's a really good deal for $350. Now, when this phone came out, it was $500. And I think that might have been just a little bit too high, considering that this is, pretty much a mid-range smartphone. But still, it's held up pretty well. And this is the Viva Magenta color. And this thing looks absolutely fantastic. You can see right there, it does have the Pantone color of the year, Viva Magenta, stamped right on the bottom. And this is a vegan leather option. You also do get other options that are glass, and that's going to be, I believe, the Interstellar Black, or black, whatever you want to call it, or whatever Motorola is calling it. But this is the vegan leather back on here, and it feels really nice, real nice and grippy. So this phone is not going to be very slippery. So very nice. It has held up pretty well, and I find myself coming back to this and just being amazed with the design. It's so thin and so beautiful. A lot of people are ask me, your phone is so thin, what phone is that? And it's the Motorola. And yeah, it's a very nice thin phone. The back is going to be curved, and the front is going to be curved as well. And it feels nice in the hand. It's not too heavy. It comes in at about 5.93 ounces. So very light device and very comfortable to hold. The corners are nice and rounded. You get an aluminum frame with pretty nice bezels on here. They're not too thick. They actually look pretty good, especially around the edges. With that curved display, it looks phenomenal, and it feels really good. Now, going on over to that display, it is a POLED display, supports 1 billion colors, and it absolutely looks fantastic. It is 6.55 inches, supports HDR10 plus, and can go all the way up to 1100 nits peak brightness on the display. 90.8% screen to body ratio. It is a 1080p by 2400 display, so that's all right. You get 402 pixels per inch, and it is covered in Corning Gorilla Glass 5. You also do get your peak display, the Motorola calling it. You get an in-display fingerprint sensor, which is a little low for my liking, but it works pretty well and pretty fast and responsive. You also do get facial recognition on here as well, so that's fantastic. You also get Motorola's nice gestures for the karate chop and the flashlight, and to turn on the camera. You get all of this stuff in Motorola settings, so that's nice for their customization. You get a lot of stuff on here. Make it yours. You could personalize this with your theme and your icons, everything, icon shape, colors, your clocks. You get so many different options. Your gestures, you get a whole crap load of gesture options for your Motorola. Secure, tips, display, play. A lot of stuff is included with this Motorola. It's pretty much stock Android with a lot more customization than your regular average Pixel. Now, when this device came out, it was running Android 12. It is on Android 13 and no update since. So I have not gotten Android 14 on here. So this is on, looks like a November security patch with Android 13. And still no Android 14, so I'm kind of bummed about that. That's one little downfall of this. Still on Android 13, no update since November of last year. Now, this is running the older Snapdragon 888 Plus chipset with the Adreno 660 GPU, and I have to say the performance, despite it being an older generation, still feels really good. It may heat up a little bit, but nowhere near as other devices as the regular 888 did. This version is a little bit cooler. Not to say that it does not get warm, it does, but it's tolerable. It won't affect anything. The throttling on here, still fantastic. I can still edit videos on here. You can play games, do all your other stuff on here. It is a champ when it comes down to performance. I do not mind the 888 Plus. It's still a really good chipset. Despite being older, it's still really good. And probably what makes this phone a little bit cheaper is using an older chipset. You get UFS 3.1. This is the 12 gigabyte 256 variant that I got off of Motorola's website. So that's really nice. There's other variants out there with 8 gigabytes and 128, 8 gigabytes 256. This particular one, like I said, is the 12 gigabyte 256. And you also had the earbuds bundled in the package along with a case. And it did have a pre-installed screen protector. So all of that for $350 is pretty good in my book, as far as being an affordable, all-around, nice device. Going on over to the cameras, you only get 3 cameras on the rear, technically just 2. You get a 50 megapixel main sensor, aperture of f1.8. It does have PDAF and OIS, so that's fantastic. 13 megapixel ultra wide, aperture of f2.2, 120 degree field of view. It does have autofocus for your macro shots, and you also get a 2 megapixel depth sensor on here, which is pretty much just for depth sensing portraits and things like that. And these cameras are actually pretty good. You can record all the way up to 8K 30 frames per second, so that's really good. Although nobody's going to use that, I pretty much just use 4K 30 in everything that I do. And the front facing camera is a 32 megapixel with an aperture of f2.5, and it also does have autofocus. You can record up to 4K 30 frames per second on this front facing camera. It does support HDR, so that's fantastic. And videos and pictures that are taken on this phone are actually pretty good. They surprise me. This phone really does surprise me. Other than maybe the optical image stabilization when recording video might be a little jittery, but it'll do just fine. It'll get the job done. So let's go ahead and take a look at some pictures and some video taken on the Motorola Edge 30 Fusion, shall we? Alright, so this is front-facing camera, 4K 30 frames per second, and I do have stabilization off. For some reason, it looks better with stabilization off on the Motorola Edge 30 Fusion. You turn it on, things get very jittery, so let me know how this looks. So this is with stabilization off, so let's go ahead and turn that on and do this again, shall we? Alright, so here we got stabilization on. Does it look any better? Does it look any worse? You let me know. So let's go ahead and continue on with some more pictures and some video taken on the Motorola Edge 30 Fusion 1 year later. Let's go. also have other options for recording video, such as the dual capture mode, which allows you to record the front and the rear video at the same time, which is pretty cool. You can get a little POV in the picture up top and things like that. Pretty cool. Is it useful? Not really, but it's there on the Motorola Edge 30 if you want it. Alright, so what did you guys think of the pictures and the video on here? Like I said, I think it does pretty well for what it is. It's pretty much just a mid-range phone with 2 cameras on the rear, and I think the pictures actually come out pretty good. May fall apart a little bit at night, especially with that video, but overall this phone has really good cameras and has impressed me over the time of using this device. They are really good and they get the job done. You got Wi-Fi 6E on here, Bluetooth 5.2, and you got USB Type-C 3.1, so that's fantastic. Battery, you get a 4400 milliamp hour battery with 68 watt fast charging. You also get the charger in the box with the cable. Yes, you get a charger, 68 watt fast charger in the box. I don't have it with me, it's plugged into the wall right now. But that is fantastic. The battery could be a little bigger. It is a little small, but battery life is actually pretty good. It holds up with my Pixel 8 as far as longevity goes, so that's fine in my book. Definitely not going to last as long as the Galaxy S23 Ultra or anything like that, or an iPhone, but still, this will get you through a day, and you might have to charge towards the end of the night, but still really good battery life. And the fact that you could charge this from 14% to 50% in like 15 minutes is awesome. You could charge it from 14% to 100% in 43 minutes, so that's fantastic. The only thing that is a downfall on this, no wireless charging. That is definitely something Motorola could have added to this, and that would have made this phone absolutely perfection. I'm telling you, if this thing had wireless charging, this will be phenomenal as far as a nice all-around cheap smaller device. The only thing, like I said, is I always find myself having to plug it in and forget that there is no wireless charging on here, but still, it is what it is, and it's still a fantastic device. So yeah, overall, this entire year of using this, or 11 months going on a year, I believe I got this in February of 2023, is actually really good, and I'm pleased to keep using this phone. I started using this phone about a week ago just to get a feel for it again and to do this video, a little follow-up for you guys, and I'm absolutely loving this device. It feels good in the hand. Battery life is great. Using the case, it actually feels really thin. It's not, you know, heavy or anything. Cameras get the job done. They're actually really good. Connectivity, 5G works just fine. I'm on T-Mobile. No issues with connectivity. It actually has a pretty good signal in 5G most of the time, other than when I'm at work. It will go down to LTE, but that's just where I work. Very bad signal there. But overall, performance on here, fantastic. Build quality has not had any scratches or anything. I have not dropped this. The design of this device looks really good. You get a lot of questions like, what phone is that? It's so thin. It's a very nice, beautiful device. For $350, you really can't go wrong with the Motorola Edge 30 Fusion. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this update of the Edge 30 Fusion 11 months later. And thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And I will see you next time here on Sick Eric Tech. Peace.